Yeah. So far we discussed about like cells mediated processes. Now antigen antibody reactions we'll see. First, immunodiffusion. We'll start with immunodiffusion, and different types of immunodiffusions we will discuss. And this is going to be very important. Next 4 5 experiments are very important. This is agar gel immunodiffusion assay. And here the experiment is to detect antibodies of influenza. The items required is agar agar, balance, normal saline, and there is a NaCl, and Petri plates and measuring jar. And so what we need to do. So this is the initial test. It is not highly sensitive, this particular agar immunodiffusion method, because there is a chances of cross reactivity when you use the polyclonal. This in this particular case, influenza is been explained, but we can use it for any other thing. So we'll be preparing agar gel. 8 grams of sodium chloride is being used, because and 1.25% of agar is being added. Ionic strength is very high in this case, and by using this one, 6 Petri plates can be prepared, where each one you can add 9 ml of this sodium chloride containing agar suspension, and it has been dissolved. Once it is very clear, it is completely dissolved. Now label your plates, Petri plates. As usual, you need to label on the base and at the edges, and what samples that you are doing, that you are supposed to mention. And transfer 15 ml of around 9 to 15 ml of agar solution. Don't add too thick. It is not required. A thin layer is quite enough. And generally, they should be preserved for some time at 4 degrees Celsius. In order to get uniform porous, uniform nature, it is better to keep some time. Even overnight is quite enough. And upside down you are supposed to keep, so that moisture will be absorbed entirely by the plates. And this is a dweller, where multiple dwells you can do simultaneously. We can do individually. In dweller is generally normally we use in microbiology lab for antibiotic sensitivity test, well sensitivity test, and this is the one where you can do 6 wells at a time and label perfectly. So you always keep a positive control and negative control whenever you do the experiments. Now dispense 30 microliters of sample that is under examination and record it into the sheet. And this is a reference antigen. Reference antigen means there is a positive control, and negative control will be taking normal saline or water, that anything that is available that you can take. So here one is the mixture of antibodies, that is sera. One is positive control, one is negative control, and 2 test samples are there here in this particular case. And now prepare a humid chamber. Otherwise, in our incubators, normal incubators, you can keep water in Petri plates, and you can incubate your sample. Then after overnight incubation, you observe on the illuminating chamber. And make a record of your observations. See, very beautiful presentation over here. This is a mixture of centrally whatever is a mixture of sera and see, that is the positive indication. The wherever the precipitation has occurred, that is the positive sample. And at the base, you could not able to see the precipitation line over there. That indicates those are the negative samples. But the problem of this agarose immunodiffusion is due to non-specificity. It may be showing the band formation, but it is a very easy. Any damn cheap lab can be used. Anybody can, even BSc intermediate people can do this one. Just simple. I will tell you. You collect the blood of a person and take out the serum from it, let it clot and do the centrifugation. Take out the supernatant, which is a serum, and the serum you load it at the center, and at the periphery you load different antigens that you are having. You must be having TT, and you must be having lysed RBC, that is A, B antigens you must be having. So you put all these antigens which are there in the 6 wells, and you incubate overnight and observe under the light. Then you will be able to see the beautiful precipitation points. See, for the clinical point of view, as it is non-specific, but it is the initial test which was developed. So for initial screening, when you have very huge number of samples, this agarose immunodiffusion method is one of the best method to screen multiple samples. Then you can go with the, if you get a positive sample in this one, you can go for the subsequent test. Now we'll go with radial immunodiffusion assay. So in this one, this is very, very simple radial immunodiffusion assay. Here we will be doing the quantitation also. First you prepare 10 ml of 1% agarose and we'll be using 1% electrophoresis buffer. That is a TI buffer, normal TI buffer we'll be using, not like sodium hydroxide and tris EDTA that what we used in earlier case. Here normal buffer we'll be using. Now there's the 10 ml TI buffer, and to that 10 ml TI buffer we'll be adding 100 mg of agarose. Agar will be having sulfates in it, so it will be tracking the flow of protein. So agar is not recommended. Step 2, allow the molten, and there is a molten agarose to cool at 55 degrees Celsius, because you need to add what? Antibodies, that sera you need to add into it. So if you are adding in the temperature about 55, they get denatured. Then we'll be adding 1 ml of anti-sera into 10 ml of this anti-sera. Otherwise, the patient collected, as I told you in earlier case, you can add the patient collected serum also. This is the patient's, this is the sample one which has come in the kit. Then mix it thoroughly. Then pour this mixture onto the glass plate or petri plate by keeping it in a horizontal position. This can be done on slide also. No need of having a petri plate or something. You can do on a slide also. Actually, concentration, if you see in the slide, you can appreciate the quantitation also. Okay, anyhow, make the wells using a gel puncher or dweller, what we use for antimicrobial. See, this is very easy. You first make a puncture and negative pressure. then 10 microliters of standard samples, whatever the things are there that you need to measure, antigens you will be loaded 10 microliters of antigen at each well. Yeah, puncturing, first you make a puncture with the tube and apply the negative pressure with syringe, so that whatever the agar is there, that will be coming out as a block. Then keep, after adding the antigens, you keep it in the moist conditions in overnight. See, this is the cotton balls with the water, and at the center you will be keeping your setup where the antibodies or sera is there in the matrix, and antigens are kept in the well. And in the moist condition, keep it overnight. Then remove the cover. Remove the cover and observe. See, very clear, you can see. You can see the zone of precipitation. The zone will be directly proportional to the concentration. If the concentration increases over there, then the precipitation zone also increases. If you see in the slide, you can appreciate the incremental pattern. So based on the zone of inhibition, see, the antibodies are there in the matrix, and you will be having the antigens in the wells, and if the more the concentration of antigens in the well, more will be the precipitation zone. This is about it is diffusing in radial. These antibodies are diffusing radially. That's what this method is called as radial immunodiffusion. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. So this is about radial immunodiffusion. Now we'll deal the one more which is a very popular, Auchterlonie or double diffusion. Auchterlonie and double diffusion. In these earlier two cases, immunodiffusion, agar immunodiffusion, and radial immunodiffusion, we have discussed single antigen. Single antigen is interacting with the antibody, and the precipitation is taking place in that one. That precipitation we are observing. Whereas in Auchterlonie, even some cases more than, if you are having a big plate, you can do the precipitate multiple antigen antibody reactions. So this is when the opposite side antigen antibodies are approaching one another, and the precipitation is taking place. That is called as Auchterlonie or double diffusion. And double diffuse, both the things, antigen antibodies are diffusing. In earlier case, it is the only one that is going to be diffused and doing the precipitation reaction. So that is the and let's see the things required for the double diffusion. See, the agarose gel, and these are the pipettes. You cut the pipettes, Pasteur pipettes you must be having in the lab. You cut the Pasteur pipettes with scissor, so that you can make wells. So you can choose the size of well as per your the volume. and after making a puncture, you aspirate from the back side, so the block will be aspirated, it will be coming back. See, it has been sucked, that has been sucked, which can be washed later. You make the puncture as many as per our requirement. Yeah, 5 is the best, because the well size is a limited one. We'll be labeling here. One is positive control, one is negative control, one sample A, sample B, and centrally the serum. Serum is added. Serum here, anti-chicken serum we are taking, and the A and B are two standard antigens, antibody, two samples, and this positive control is antibodies up to that particular sample. Negative is normal saline that we are using. So we'll be taking 150 microliters of, this is sera, yeah, mixture sera, and putting it at the center without spilling out. Be careful, and use a separate tip, and you take, there is a positive control. And then negative control. Negative control is a normal saline or phosphate buffer saline or water, but sterile. And these are the sample A and sample B. This is B, sorry, A, earlier one was B. Yeah, after incubation, you need to, like earlier, for all antigen antibodies reactions, you need to incubate in moist conditions for overnight. And as both these things are migrating, overnight is quite enough. But single, when it is a diffusion, then you need to go for at least 24 to 36 or 48 hours also. But in this case, overnight is quite enough. So you can see here, the central one is a mixture sera, and this is a positive control, and this is a B, and this is the one is A, and this is the negative control, this is a positive control, and one is A, and let me complete this one. Yeah, now it is clear. See, this is the B. Right? You can see there is no band towards B, and there is a band at A. This is A. You can see this is A. So A specific antibodies are there in the serum, and this is anyhow positive control. It will be giving the positive reaction over there. Here, both the things are migrating. Here both the things are migrating. That's what the band has been appeared in between these two band. This is coming in this way, and that is coming in this way. So the band is there in between these two. So this is a double diffusion. Now we'll go for one more method, that is rocket immunoelectrophoresis. Here the simple electrophoresis is combined with immunodiffusion. Immunodiffusion as well as electrophoresis?
Rocket immunoelectrophoresis. This technique was discovered by Laurel in 1966. Principle of this technique is immunodiffusion and electrophoresis. Antigen and antibody move towards each other. It is immunodiffusion. When it reaches the equivalence point, they precipitate by forming antigen and antibody complex. To increase the rate of reaction, this complex is subjected to electric current. This is electrophoresis. Melt 1% of agarose with electrophoresis buffer. Add antibody in the gel when its temperature reduces. Wipe the gel plate with ethanol and cover the edges with tape. Pour the gel into the gel plate. Remove the tape carefully after the gel polymerizes. Make holes on the top of the gel using gel borer without damaging the gel. Pour the 1x electrophoresis buffer into the gel tank. Immerse the gel into the buffer. Load the antigens into the wells. Run the gel for 2 hours at 100 volts. Moisture chamber is kept ready by placing a wet cotton in a Petri plate. After gel run, take the gel from the tank and place it in the moist chamber and incubate the plate for overnight at room temperature. This is the result after incubation. From the observations, we can interpret that the presence of peak indicates that the presence of specific antigen to the antibody, and the absence of peak indicates that there is no specific antigen. We can also detect the multispecificity of antigen or antibody by loading different antigens or antibodies on the well. The concentration is directly proportional to the height of the peak. When the height is more, the concentration is also more, and vice versa. Applications. This technique is used to detect myeloma, malignant lymphoma, and used as a screening tool to differentiate serum proteins like albumins, globulins, fibrinogens, regulatory proteins, and clotting factors. Some of the commercial kits available are Kit of Biorolysins, Expert IMIKit. These are some of the results obtained from.
Okay, actually, radial immunodiffusion and rocket immunodiffusion both are technically same. Principle wise, both are the same. But here, as it is combined with the electrophoresis, the peak, the exact peak can be measured in this case. So the quantitation will become more easy than that of radial immunodiffusion. But additional technique is required that you need to do the electrophoresis apart from the immunodiffusion, immunoprecipitation. This is about rocket immunodiffusion, rocket immunoelectrophoresis.